Hi, I'm Bart. Hi, I'm Mark, welcome back to the channel, and here is what happened when we took our first big road trip in our Model 3. So we picked up our car about 6 months ago, and thanks to various restrictions as well as having a baby, we've not really done any great long trips in our Tesla Model 3, which hasn't really tested the long range battery very much or allowed us to see what it's like to do a long motorway ride in. So York to Henley is just over 200 miles one way, so technically we should have plenty of charge in a battery to get us there without needing to stop. We'll see. So I set the car to charge right up to 100% last night, so we're starting the day with a theoretical 330 mile range. And according to my Tesla app, that works out as a real world equivalent of about 318 miles. Now either way, that should be plenty to get us there, even if there's diversions or we need to stop unexpectedly. Now I also put this into the A Better Route Planner app. By the way, if you own any electric vehicle, this is a must-have app. It's a really good way of estimating what charge you currently have versus what charge you want to arrive at and when you might need to stop to get to that space. And I actually think we're going to be wanting to stop a little bit earlier than that at the Rugby Supercharger, which is about the halfway mark, and that will allow us to get the kids out of the car. And I think with the faster chargers there, we should be good to top up a lot more of our range there while we grab a drink and some snacks. Now I've also put this into the Tesla's own sat-nav so that we can track this whole journey as a trip, and interestingly Tesla's own routing recommends Rugby as a stopping point too. So let's pack the car and head off. Okay, so it's worth talking about Autopilot here, and I planned on using this quite a bit, and it really does take the sting out of motorway driving. And in practice what I find is that I flip between the intelligent cruise control and the Autopilot mode, and the only difference here is that Autopilot takes care of your steering. Now if you're going to be finding yourself weaving in and out of lanes on a busy motorway, sometimes it's just far easier just to use the cruise control, which maintains your speed as well as distance from other cars around you, and it allows for easy overtaking when you need it without needing to flip back into standard driving mode. Just a little tip there. So we've just pulled into Rugby's Supercharger, and as you can see, we're doing okay battery-wise. So we're going to plug in, head out for a snack and a toilet break before we continue our journey. So that's the car almost 100% topped up in just 45 minutes, and amazingly, because I still have some referral miles, that didn't cost us a penny. We're going to continue with the last leg of our trip. And here we are in Henley, and as we can see, that stop at Rugby paid off, and we arrived with a state of charge of 64%. And we're looking forward to spending some time here with our friends in Henley over the next 24 hours. Time to head off, and we've tried to time it so that the kids will be ready for bed before we set off, and that will mean we can just do the whole nighttime drive in one go without needing to stop. Now, I was going to attempt to charge up at our friend's house, but I left it a little bit late, and the estimate said it was going to take 13 hours to charge up to 100% using the granny charger from the 3-pin plug. So I found a couple of options nearby. Now, there was a Tesco superstore just nearby with some free chargers available, and according to the Kilowatt app, that would take us about 4 hours to top up to 100%, or there was a paid for charger just around the corner that could do the job in just 50 minutes. I opted for the paid for charger in the end because it meant that we didn't have to cut any time out with our friends while we were still here. Now, I had a little problem finding this place as it was tucked down an alleyway in front of a gas shop, and I had a brief but very mild panic that the charger was closed, but all was well, and I got the full top-up charge in just 50 minutes, and this way, if we hit any diversions or any delays on the way home, we can still carry on going, and we should still arrive with a good state of charge when we get back home. Importantly, had I planned further ahead, we could have completed this entire journey without paying a penny for our charging costs, which I think is pretty awesome. Let's head home. And again, on these nighttime drives when the roads are a bit quieter, Autopilot really comes into its own. I found I was using Autopilot much more than the cruise control this time, as you could just stick yourself in a lane, set your speed, and then pretty much pilot the car without needing to really focus on driving too much. It's a really good way of taking the sting out of a long, continuous journey like this. And here we are heading back into York, and we arrive with a comfortable 30% charge remaining. Now, I have to say, with all the talk of range anxiety, with this long range battery, and a number of really handy apps and a bit of forward planning, it really wasn't an issue at all for us on this trip. The Tesla supercharging network really is everything it's cracked up to be and was so simple to use, especially on the move using Tesla's sat-nav. All it takes is a bit of forward planning and contingency planning just in case your plan A doesn't work. And I've put all of the apps that I use to help plan this journey and find our chargers in the description below. Folks, if you enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button and maybe even a cheeky subscribe if you'd like to see more like this. And of course, if you have any questions or comments about what happened on the journey, how we use some of those apps, just post a comment below and I'll do my best to reply to each and every one. I'll see you next time.